This video is Patreon sponsored. If you want to sponsor your own Patreon video, just go to my Patreon and donate $10 for 1 month, and you will get to pick your own topic for a Patreon sponsored video.
Okay, so this is one of my Patreon supported vlogs by Josh Henniger, who from now on shall be known as SATAM Fan FF. It's supposed to mean like he's a Sonic Saturday Morning fan, and he's a firefighter. Yeah, because he's awesome. Okay, so for donating at the $10 level on my Patreon page, Josh has earned the reward of getting a vlog on the topic he wanted, and he specifically wanted me to do a vlog on the action figure series that I designed on my DeviantArt page a little while ago. Let's zoom the camera in a little bit more so these images come out a little clearer. Is that showing up? These are all drawn on tracing paper, so they're a little bit translucent, but with the proper backing, they become much more visible. Alright, so when I designed these figures, I wanted them to, as much as possible, emulate the exact style from the original Saturday morning cartoon. That means their proportions, their scaling, the art design, all of it is supposed to look as much as possible like the actual toys, like the actual characters on that particular cartoon did. And these are supposed to be one-to-one drawings, like the actual action figure would be roughly the size as they are presented here on the page. So yeah. So let's get the first sheet out. Yeah, so there's Sonic. Let's pull out. Yeah. This is the Sonic Nendroid. It's a figure. You know, it's a Sonic figure. It's officially licensed, and as you can see, he's about exactly the same height as the drawing. So this is a 4-inch scale figure. I decided that the figure should be 4 inches tall because, you know, like that, I figured that that's roughly how tall Sonic would be if he was to stand next to a human action figure that was 6 inches tall. So, and that 6-inch scale is a very popular scale among adult collectors, which is what I really think the toy line should be focused towards. You know, because the cartoon aired 23 years ago, so a lot of the people who were originally fans of that old cartoon are, you know, my age, late 20s, early 30s, probably somewhere in their mid-30s by now, depending on how old they were when they started watching it. But the thing is, like, yeah, like I said, they almost never make 4-inch scale Sonic toys. As far as I'm aware, the Nendroid's really the only one. Oh, wait, I take it back. There is one other. It was the very first Sonic action figure made by Resource. This figure is 4 inches tall. Yeah. And the Knuckles and Tails, and I think there was an Amy, they all scale with him. So there is a 4-inch scale Sonic the Hedgehog toy line. The problem is that, you know, it's based off the video game, not the cartoon. 2, it was made in 1999, so the engineering on it is significantly more primitive than what we're used to today. I mean, he has a neck swivel, universal shoulder joints, wrist swivels, and swivels at the ankles, at the hips. So you know what? In terms of articulation, it's about equivalent to one of the Sonic Boom figures. I think the only difference is that he has wrist movement where the Boom figures do not. So yeah, like I said, that the look is good, the scale is good, but you know, I really, you know, like the articulation is representative of its time. And furthermore, as we all know, Sonic didn't look like that back in the day. In the first Sonic game, we only ever saw him in profile. So, and the hand-drawn drawings are also usually done like from a perspective where he has his head tilted like this. So his spine pattern was actually a little bit up for debate. In Sonic 2, with the introduction of the 3D special stage, we actually did get a good view of what his spines were supposed to look like. And that's actually represented here. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog Crash and Smash bike, I'm hoping you remember. And the Crash and Smash bike was made, I think, 1994? I don't even remember. There's no date written on the Crash and Smash bike. But as you can see, the Sonic minifigure itself has the spine pattern notable from the video game. See? 6 spines on the back of his head, 2 spines on his back, and his tail. Now, it's hard for me to remember, but I think this toy came out roughly 1994 to 1996, somewhere in there. Like, I do remember that the Saturday morning cartoon had already ended when this toy was made. But there was a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog merchandise that got made in that little Twilight Zone before they knew what his spines were supposed to be like. Take this piggy bank, for example. I keep my foreign coin collection in here, and they had been operating under the theory that Sonic, from the side, you see the 3 spines on Sonic's head and the 1 spine on his back, but they realized it as kind of like a triple mohawk style thing. And yes, he does have a tail. I always kind of liked how he's sitting on a giant nut. This reminds me of the nut and bolt elevators from Metropolis Zone in the Sonic 2 game. Like, you know, you run on them, and if you run right, it goes up, and if you run left, it goes down. I always like that. Like they actually incorporated a little bit of a thing from the game, even if they got the spine pattern wrong. But, you know, I like this thing. There is a copyright date on it. This toy was made in 1993. So this game could very well have been released before Sonic 3 came out. And again, like, that is a little bit closer to what Sonic looked like from the cartoon. I think the closest thing to an actual toy, a cartoon version of Sonic, besides the McDonald's promo toys, was probably this thing. Yeah, let's get that camera zoomed in one more time so you can get a look at this. Alright, so this is the Sonic the Hedgehog gum holder. It does have a little bit of movement. You can wiggle the arms around. But this is not a toy or an action figure. This just holds candy. As you can see, like, it goes with the mohawk style. Like, they treated it like a triple mohawk, but only so that from the front you could still see the spines coming out the side of his head. It was a primitive understanding of what Sonic might look like and a decent interpretation. Also, its proportions are pretty close to what Sonic looked like in the cartoon. Once again, if I bring out my little drawing, like, I use actual references from the cartoon to make my things. Like, as you can see, his stomach is a little bit too overlong, but shorten that up, and there you go. So this is the closest thing to a toy of the original cartoon Sonic that exists. And of course, it's not really a toy. It's, you pluck the spines off, and he holds gum inside. Weird rock gum. And there's the rock gum. I don't know why they didn't try to make it more thematic gum, like shaped like Chaos Emeralds or something. It's just rock gum. Very, very weird. And, you know, this stuff is basically... Well, this thing... Does it have a manufacturer's date on it? I remember I had one of these when I was a little kid that broke. So I'm guessing it was released somewhere around 1994 or so. So, yeah, that's some 22-year-old gum there. It's all just sugar and gelatin. It's not like there's anything in there that can spoil. Actually, still has a little bit of flavor. Crumbles to dust in your mouth when you bite into it. Still get a decent gum wad out of it. Mm-hmm. 20-something-year-old gum that looks exactly like a rock. It's just, it is the weirdest thing that they could have put in there. Like they could have put like little gum balls or like I said, make the candies shaped like something from the Sonic games, because they have made Sonic candy in the shape of Chaos Emeralds. Okay. Alright, so that's how merchandising for Sonic in the early 90s was. There was no real action figures that was ever made based on his cartoon look, even if they actually did get around to making quite a bit of merchandise. So I always figured, like, that's a niche that needs filling. Now, when I proposed the toy line, I got some people saying things like Sega has always disavowed knowledge of those old Deke cartoons, and like they didn't want to make they didn't want to make toys based off the cartoons because it had to split profits with the studios that made them, as opposed to making the toys based off the video game franchise, which means that they will get to keep all the money. And well, I really don't buy that, for several reasons. First of all, in regards to making your toys based off of the cartoons as opposed to purely from the video games, do you guys not remember the Sonic X toy line? Let me just reach up here and grab. Yeah, this was the REX D05 Megabot. This is a robot based off of the cartoon, the anime series Sonic X. And this isn't the only Sonic X exclusive toy. They made, you know, Missile Wrist, which I also have up there, but he's behind more stuff. They made a toy of Chris Thorndike because exactly nobody wanted one. They've made toys of Deco and Boko, you know, Dr. Robotnik's minions from that show. Like, they make toys based off of stuff from the cartoons. In fact, the Sonic Boom toy line, which currently exists, this is based off of the Sonic Boom cartoon series. I mean, sure, there's also a Sonic Boom video game, but, you know, because it's a cartoon series, you gotta make if they had to pay any kind of royalties to the people that produced the cartoon series, like, and don't okay, I know what you're gonna say, but they just produced the toys of characters that appeared in the game, so they don't have to pay any dues to the people who made the cartoons. Burnbot, as far as I've been able to observe, Burnbot was not in the video game, either of them. So if they made a Burnbot toy, they made a Burnbot toy because Burnbot was in the cartoon. So yeah, there is absolutely a precedent for making the toys based off of the characters from the cartoons as opposed to just from the video games exclusively. And even if they had to split profits, what's the big deal? Okay, let's say it this way. If they were to make this toy line, they could split the profit with Deke in this case, or if they want to make comic book characters, then they would have to split the profits with Archie Publications, and they would make some money. If they did not want to split the profits with Archie or Deke or whoever else helped make those particular incarnations of those characters, then they can not make the toy line and make no money. Now, a big giant corporation is going to be presented with the options of making some money or making no money. What do you think they're going to do? And obviously they're going to try and make some money, so there's no reason for them to hold back on this. Except for maybe the second reason. Children. The Sonic the Hedgehog brand has always targeted kids. The comic book is very kid friendly even today, even though it has older readers. The cartoons are made for younger audiences. The games are all rated E, E10 at the most. I don't think there's ever been a T-rated Sonic game. But the thing is, like, just because a franchise has always generally focused towards kids doesn't mean that you don't ignore the adult collector market. I mean, look at this, look at this. This is Mario. Freaking Mario. And this is not the World of Nintendo Mario that I could pick up at my own Toys R Us for $10. This is the SH Figuarts Mario. I pre-ordered this guy for $20. And if I wanted to go to Barnes & Noble to buy one, it would cost $25. But, you know, this toy is made specifically to appeal to me, to an older person that wants a Mario figure with all the high-end articulation and the precise paint job of an adult collector's figure. I mean, sure, it's not as expensive as the Samus or Pit Figmas, but, you know, it's still a high-end toy of a character from a franchise that, you know, like, Mario may be Mr. Video Game, but, come on, do you really think that the franchise is exactly geared towards mature audiences? So, there's really no reason why you shouldn't be making these toys with the idea of making them for an older audience. I mean, go to a Toys R Us. Go into the adult collectors section. Yes, there is an adult collectors section. Now, they may have pulled the Breaking Bad toys out because some soccer mom in Florida complained about pretend drug paraphernalia. I mean, it's the adult collectors section. You can still buy Breaking Bad toys in Barnes & Noble, as far as I'm aware, by the way. And you will see, like, there are toy lines dedicated to, like, there's Predator, the Terminator, Aliens is just having this huge toy line thing. And you can even see, like, the pop vinyls and the reaction figures. And they're all based on properties from movies, video games, and cartoon shows from the 80s and 90s. I mean, we're on a nostalgia kick. You can easily sell back a small token of a person's childhood to them for $15.99, and they will gladly take it. Just for as long as they hold it in their hands, they can remember that time when they were still in their single-digit age and the world was so perfect and simple and easy to understand. I know that's a bit exploitative, but I'm talking about a big corporation that wants to make money, so yeah, exploit. Why will you not let me give you my money? So yeah, like, that's why I say that there totally is a market for these, and the market exists, so the toys should exist. If not made by the current owner of the Sonic license, Tomy, then maybe an appeal can be made to Funko or NECA or one of those other companies that makes these adult collectors nostalgic toys. I mean, there's no reason why two people can't have the license to make Sonic toys, especially if the toys don't actually resemble each other. I mean, Jazzwares and Tomy sold their toys on the shelves side by side for quite a while. And even when Jazzwares was the primary holder of the line, Tomy still made other Sonic merchandise. Those buildable Gashapon figures, some pullback toy car racers for the All-Stars Racer line, keychains and cell phone accessories. Tomy made all of those in the middle of Jazzwares holding the big contract to make Sonic toys. So there's no reason why, like, Tomy can continue to make the Sonic Boom toys, and they're also making classic Sonic toys for the 25th anniversary, including the very first official classic Knuckles figure. That's going to be awesome. But, you know, there's no reason why another toy line can't take up, another company can't take up a toy line for the old Sonic cartoons, or even the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. Like, those 6 designs I drew, I only ever intended for this to be the first wave of an ever-expanding toy line. My idea for the second wave would be to incorporate the bad guys, you know, have Robotnik, Snively, a SWAT bot, It would also include Dulcie the Dragon. She appeared in the second season of the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, so I figured why not have her be in the second wave of the toy line, along with Uncle Chuck in his roboticized form. And then I'm wondering if that 6 figures should be Naugus or King Max. I would probably put that up to a vote. And you know, also keep on going into like more and more waves, like maybe expanding into other cartoons, maybe making toys of Scratch and Grounder as they appeared in the Adventures cartoon, and make them look more like they looked in the comic books, where they started to incorporate more of the video game's design. They got a little bit skinnier, their proportions changed a little, like, you could look at the original Princess Sally from the SATAM cartoon, and then look at her as she appeared in the comic books, say, 3 or 4 years ago, before the Super Genesis wave, and you can see how the characters are similar, but clearly different from each other. Like, the art design was just completely different. And then do that. Make the comic book appearances both pre and post Super Genesis wave. Like make these same 6 figures as they appeared in the comic before the Super Genesis wave, and then make them up as they appeared after the Super Genesis wave. Perhaps even release them as 2-packs, like a pre and post Super Genesis wave Sally in the same packaging. Of course, you kind of lose out on making a Sonic and Tails, because Sonic and Tails kind of look exactly the same pre and post Genesis wave. But you know, like maybe just do more. Like, I don't know, like if we be able to make any of the characters that we lost to the Super Genesis wave because of the Penders thing. Like, I wouldn't expect to be able to make a Julie Sue or a Thayer a figure. Maybe they could be convinced to make the Silver Sonic, you know, the comic exclusive version. I mean, Silver Sonic was based off of Mecha Sonic, the final boss from Sonic 2, the penultimate boss of Sonic 2. So maybe make the original video game version, then make the comic accurate version, which I have a custom of up there somewhere, and maybe even find a way to make Shard. Although, again, I'm not sure if we'd be able to use characters that we've lost to the Genesis wave. God, that really irritates me that would be how it would be pigeonholed. But then there's one more thing. Let's say Sega says no. Like Sega doesn't want, they really don't want to make these characters, and NECA can't be, we wouldn't be able to appeal to NECA or Tomy or Funko or any of the toy companies to try and convince Sega, like they're comfortable in their own niches and they don't want to do it. I say, what's to prevent us from doing it ourselves? Like, here's the thing. The way that copyright laws work, you can copyright or trademark your characters' names and your mythos, but you can't actually copyright your style or your designs. Like, this is like true. Like, there's so many fan products out there of Sonic the Hedgehog. I say, what's wrong with making, like, literally making these toys and then selling them anyway, but not calling them Sonic toys? Like, instead of the Freedom Fighters, Sonic, Sally, Bunny, and Antoine, call them the Freedom Battlers with Blue Streak, Chipmunk Princess, and Cyborg Rabbit. I mean, they do this all the time with Transformers. I mean, look at this. This is Wind Saber. She was made by a toy company that is not Hasbro. She looks exactly like an official character, Windblade, with maybe just a little bit of artistic license taken on the design of her face makeup and her and stuff. But this is a toy. Everybody knows that this is supposed to be a Windblade. The reason they bought this is because they wanted a Windblade at this particular scale. I mean, Hasbro has not yet made a Windblade at this scale. They made a deluxe. There's going to be a Warrior toy for the Robots in Disguise toy line, which is basically another deluxe, but more like the cartoon style. They made a Legion class figure, which is smaller than this. This is Legend scale, which is bigger than Legion scale. And Hasbro, Hasbro and Takara apparently can't say anything to it. I mean, sure, you'll never see this in a retail location, but you can easily order it from Big Bad Toy Store or some other online distributor. So, yeah. So what was the toy company that made this? If Iron Factory can do this to the Transformers toy line, then surely it's possible for any of us to do basically the same thing to Sega and Deke and whatever. Like I don't know, but what really would they have to say? Like they didn't want to make this toy line, so someone else made it anyway. And sure, it would technically be a bootleg. Everyone would know that it's not the official merchandise for the cartoon. If they wanted to, they could make their own official merchandise and sell it. And if they can make it better quality than the proposed third-party toy, then sure, go ahead. I mean, that's what these third-party Transformers are all about. They may technically be bootlegs and knockoffs, but they're still good quality toys, and that's why people buy them. People buy not masterpiece toys all the time. You can get, you can get masterpiece level versions of the entire Dinobot team, of Ratchet, Ironhide, Mirage, a whole ton of G1 characters that do not yet have official masterpiece toys, there's a whole War in the Pocket where they make Scout or Legends class versions of like Blur, Megatron, Optimus, Ultra Magnus, all these characters that Hasbro simply hasn't made equivalent toys of their own, and people buy them because their quality is good and their character they want. So, yeah, that would be the ultimate thing. So what would I go? Well, first of all, you're probably figuring out from the fact that this is literally drawn on paper that I'm a bit of a Luddite. I don't really know how to use the 3D modeling software, like to make 3D models, to feed into a 3D printer. I probably either have to learn that myself or get someone to help me. But I would really like to literally make these toys. At least make some prototypes, even as mock-ups. I would love to be able to make some 3D prototypes and pitch them, like literally show them to Sega or another toy manufacturer and see if they'll take it up. And if they won't, then go third party. Just make them anyway under different names and sell that. So that was my idea for making a toy line based off of the SATAM cartoon. And of course making it based off of any Sonic property that's not directly related to the video games. I'll continue this quest. When I get time, I'll see if I can design the second wave. See if I can make the comic proposals. And yeah, that's what I was doing. Now, as for one more thing I want to talk about was how the figures would be articulated. For example, the characters all have a particular look to them, and sometimes when you can't capture a look when you have a certain kind of articulation. Like, for example, I think Sonic would work just fine, like the Nendroid or the Jazzwares figures, to have pin discs in his shoulders and his hips. But for other characters, Bunny, Sally, and Rotor, the pin disc design wouldn't work based on how their hips look. It would either really limit their articulation or completely distort the looks. So I was figuring on Sally, Bunny, and Rotor to go more with a ball socket type system. Like what Windblade here has. Her thigh is a big cup joint, which is around a ball inside of her hip. And the Mega Bloks Monster High figures do this exact same thing, and it affords a pretty good range of motion in the hip. Like this Chic figure right here, those are ball joints in there. Now, I would probably try and sculpt the crotch a little bit different so that you don't get that V crotch thing where the leg tries to go outwards when you move it forward. But it's totally a feasible idea to have a ball jointed hip. Like this Mega Bloks Halo figure has a ball jointed hip, and its legs can easily go forward into a sitting position. So something like this would be great for the hips of some of the characters in the toy line. So yeah, like I probably put way more thought into this than I really should, considering that it isn't my job. Although I really would like it to be. If I could totally design toys and then have them made, or even found my own toy company, although I'd probably need to get a massive loan and some venture capital and to rent factory time from a manufacturer. I mean, it's not a simple task to found a toy company. I know this, which is why why my first idea would be to pitch it to an actual toy company. Maybe get hired by them. Yeah. But this isn't, well, I guess it is. I'm not trying to vent my life dreams and ambitions here. I'm just trying to talk about this particular toy line that I designed and hope that would someday actually become a real thing. Because that would be the greatest thing. If they could actually acknowledge the adult collector fan base from Sonic the Hedgehog and make a nostalgic toy line just like they've done for everything else, that would be a realization of a life goal. That would be a legitimate real life accomplishment for me. So, thanks again to SATAM fan, freedom fighter, firefighter, for supporting me on Patreon. You make it a lot easier for me to make these toys. I really would like there to be more patrons. Like if enough. I mean, I know I have several thousand people who watch me, so if like even a fraction of them could donate a small amount, that could really help. So that said, I thank everyone for watching. Thanks for sticking with me this long, and I'll hope to see you again for another video.